Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Good afternoon, dear students. Today, in this particular lecture, in this particular video, I will be discussing with you the concept of negligence. So, as we know that there is a unique relationship between banker and customer. So, bankers are under a responsibility. It is the duty of the banker to safeguard the interest of the customers, and they are doing so also. They are performing their duties very diligently. But in this particular chapter, we will be discussing the concept of negligence. So now let us start. First of all, dear students, what is negligence? What is the meaning of negligence? So what is the dictionary meaning of negligence? We will be starting from that only. So, as per the Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary, as per Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary, what is the definition of negligence? And negligence is failure to give enough care or attention to someone or something that you are responsible for. So in this case, a banker, in case a banker is not fulfilling, banker is not giving enough care or enough attention that the banker is required to do. In that case, in various cases, it will be considered to be negligence. But in various other cases, it will not be even considered to be negligence. I will be discussing all those cases with you. Now, as far as collecting banker is concerned, what is the concept of negligence? Now, applying the concept of negligence to the banking sector, and particularly when we apply the concept of negligence for a collecting banker, then what is the meaning of negligence as far as a collecting banker is concerned? So, if the collecting banker is unable to follow its duties due to omission, it will be termed as negligence under Section 131 of the Negotiable Instrument Act 1881. So it is mentioned, it has been specifically mentioned under Negotiable Instrument Act 1881 that if the collecting banker fails to follow its duties due to omission, it will be termed as negligence under this particular section. So it should be kept in mind. Now, what are the various examples of negligence? In case account of the customer is not properly KYC complied, so it is the duty of the banker. It is the duty of the banker to know, to check that it is properly complied with, and KYC stands for Know Your Customer. And in case endorsement is or endorsement are not genuine and the banker is unable to trace it, again it will be difficult, it will be treated to be negligence. In another case, it may be so that no inquiries have been made in case of some doubtful cases. You see, various cases may be there where a person of a normal, you may say, caliber, he or she may think that something is wrong, something fishy is there. Like when a customer of ordinary means deposits a check of large amount. Whenever we see one person is coming to bank and he is depositing a very large amount check. So in that case, banker must understand, banker must guess that something is wrong. Similarly, when checks payable to the corporate bodies are endorsed by the authorized signatory for the credit of their personal accounts, so again something fishy may be there, or for the credit of accounts of their relatives. So again you should think, you should inquire, as these are some doubtful cases. So special precautions should be taken by the collecting bankers in this case, and every type of banker should be taking extra effort, extra precautions should be taken in dealing with such cases. And when check bearing not negotiable, crossing that is negotiated further, as it can't be done, so it should be stopped, it should not be paid. But once it is done, again it is not good, again it may be treated as negligence. Then when check is bearing account pay only crossing and it is collected for the account other than the pay, again it will be wrong. The word account pay, though not mentioned in the negotiable instrument act, still we assume it is considered to be a part of the law due to its prevailing practice and due to the prevailing traditions, prevailing customs. And RBI has already issued circulars to the banks that an account pay check is required to be collected for the payee constituent only. So all these things should be kept in mind by the bankers. Otherwise, it may be considered as negligence. Now, what may not be treated as negligence? Till date, we have discussed what may be treated as a negligence. Now, dear students, what kind of activity may not be treated as negligence? Let us discuss those. First is when the pay's name is on the check is not certain, and in case no clarity is there regarding the name of the pay on the check, and no guideline, no clear mandate is there, no such mandate has been given to the bank that to whom the payment of the check is to be made. And let us suppose in this case, banks are not honoring the check. Rather, this check is being dishonored by the bank. In such case, it will be good. It will not be treated as negligence on the part of the bank. But in case the payee's name is clear, everything is given, everything is certain, clear mandate is there. In that case, a bank should be honoring the check. Bank should be paying the amount to the stated pay. In that case, it would have been considered to be negligence. But when it is not clear, pay's name is not clear and all that, then in that case, bank will be saved. Bank will not be treated. This particular activity, this will not be covered under negligence. Now, second, let us suppose, let us suppose some check is issued by, let us suppose a check is issued by the customer and only date is mentioned. Let us suppose 18th of November is mentioned, but year is not mentioned. It is not mentioned whether it is 2022 or whatever it is. In this case, again, a bank should dishonor the check. And in such case, if the check is dishonored, and the reason is given that incomplete date as no year has been mentioned, even in such case, it will not be treated as a negligence. We can't assume that we are living in 2022, so it is implied, it is understood. It is not so. It is not so. You may come to the branch, you may visit the branch in case some you may say very important check is there. But we can't say that in case it is dishonored by the bank due to this reason, and by mentioning that incomplete date or year, in that case bank will be 100% correct and it will not be treated to be negligence. Then let us suppose, dear students, in case some legally enforceable debt or other liability is there, and you may say other liability may be there, and existence of a legally enforceable debt or some other liability by the drawer of the check towards another person will be pay or holder of the check as the case may be, and the check is drawn to discharge the debt or liability. Even in such case, a bank may dishonor the check, and even in such cases, it will not be bad. It will not be unjustified. It will not be bad. It will be justified. In case the bank is dishonoring the check, it will be good, and it will not be covered under negligence. It should be uh, noted. And one thing more, dear students, in case in case insufficient balance is there, in case a check has been issued by the customer and in his or her account insufficient funds are there, insufficient balance is there. In that case, banks are empowered to return the check. Banks are empowered to dishonor the check, and in case some agreement is between you and bank, and the check exceeds even that amount agreed to be paid by the bank. In that case, also a bank may dishonor the check, and bank should dishonor the check rather. And in case it is dishonored by the bank, it will not be treated to be a negligence. And in the last, we may say that when the main time, then when the check has become stale. I have already mentioned while discussing types of check that what is a stale check. Actually, as per the latest provisions, a check is valid for 3 months from the date of the issue, and in case it is presented to the bank, the party presents the check that is a stale check. That means it has been presented after 3 months from the date of the issue. In that case, it will be dishonored by the bank, and it will not be treated to be negligence. It may not to be treated as negligence. Now, again, dear students, I will be discussing with you in brief that what may be covered under negligence. You see, it will differ from case to case. It will differ from circumstance to circumstance. And keeping in mind the facts and circumstances of each and every case, we will have to decide whether it will be covered under negligence or it will not be covered under negligence. So now I am discussing a few cases where it would be discussed as negligence when payment is not made to the person entitled to the payment, and no genuine reason is there. No, nothing is wrong, everything is in line, everything is as per the norms, and still payment is not being made to the person entitled to the payment. In that case, it may be treated to be a negligence on the part of the bank. And next part is when the payment is made before the due date, everything is in order, check is not a stale check, everything is good, but you are not making the payment. So in that case also, in case some genuine reason is there, that must be given, that must be specified. In that case, it would not be considered to be negligence. But in case no such a reason is there, so in that case it will be difficult. I agree that in case some genuine reason is there, it should be specified, and in that case it would not be treated to be negligence. Then when payment is made with the knowledge that it may impair the rights of the holder to receive money, or under reasonable grounds for believing that the holder in due course is not entitled to receive payment, and even then a bank is making the payment, and even then bank is making the payment, and with the knowledge, knowing that it may impair the rights of the holder to receive money, and knowing that reasonable grounds are there, reasonable grounds are there for believing that the holder in due course is not entitled to receive payment, and even then in case bank is making payment, in that case it will definitely be considered to be negligence on the part of the banker. And then in case the payment is not made, in case the payment is not made by the banker in good faith, again it will be treated to be negligence. It will depend upon the facts and circumstances of the case, but it may be considered to be negligence on the part of the banker. And when in case, now the next category is in case reasonable grounds are there, reasonable ground is there to believe that the person is not entitled to receive payment, and even then payment is made. So in that case it will be bad, and it will be treated to be negligence. So both the categories should be kept in mind. In case payment is not made to the person entitled to the payment, or in case payment is made to the person who is not entitled to receive payment, and there are reasonable grounds for that, genuine reason are there, reasonable ground is there to believe that he is not entitled to receive payment, and even then payment is being made by the bank, then it would be considered to be negligence on the part of the bank. Then my dear students, kindly keep this in mind. It is very typical case. Let us suppose some forced check is there. Forced check is there. Then a banker is not absolved of his liability on forged check, even if the customer was negligent in keeping the checkbook under lock and key, as required by the rules of the bank. It is the duty of the employees of the bank to be able to identify the signatures of the customers. So in such case, in such case, no precaution is taken, no sincere efforts are made by the officials of the, you may say, bank. In that case, bank will be treated responsible for the negligence. Again, I have already told you while discussing banker customer relationship that a number of relationships are there between a bank and its customer. I think you might be remembering that one such a relationship was there of debtor and creditor. Debtor and creditor. Whenever a customer deposits some amount in a bank, in, let us suppose, in his saving bank account, in his current account, in his FD, in his RD account, then in that case, customer is the creditor and banker, the bank becomes a debtor in such cases. In that case, bank will have no authority to debit the customer's account with a check bearing forced signature of the customer. So it should be kept in mind when when the signature of the customers are forced and there is no mandate to pay, there is no mandate to the bank to pay. So in that case, it may also be treated as negligence on the part of the bank. Now, in order to save itself, what are the various precautions that should be taken by the banks? Let us discuss these precautions. First of all, in order to prove that banker has acted in the good faith, in order to justify, in order to prove that we have acted in good faith, we have acted in good faith, we have acted without negligence. These are the precautions that should be taken by the banks. First of all, complying with the proper KYC procedures. Whenever some account is opened, whenever some account is opened, banks should be very strict as far as know your customer, as far as KYC procedure is concerned. That is why you might have noticed that banks are really very strict while obtaining proof of identity, while taking address proof, and all that. Then, in case checks are being crossed, then banks should ensure crossing of checks either generally or specially in favor of its customers. Then they should verify the pay's name, they should verify the date, they should tally the amount in words and the amount in figures. They should ensure that it is being tallied, and they should pay extra attention on verifying the signature on the checks in order to ensure that nothing wrong is there, no material defect is there, that is there on the check. So it should be kept in mind. Then whenever some large value check, whenever a simple person, a normal person having limited income, whenever that person is depositing a check for crores of rupees, so in such cases bank should pay extra attention. So when large value credits are there, when something fishy seems to be there, in that case the bank should be extra vigilant. And last but not the least, due diligence and close monitoring should be done by the banker for various other large value transactions. So, dear students, this was very small topic regarding concept of negligence. So, I have discussed each and everything that may be related to this topic in this particular video, and I am hopeful that you have understood the basic concept of negligence. Okay, then, thank you.